Have you ever turned down plans, not because you were busy, not because you were tired, but because you genuinely preferred being alone? Like the idea of staying in your room, headphones on, maybe watching something, creating something, or just thinking, somehow feels better than being surrounded by people. And if you're like that, you've probably heard it before. You should go out more. You're missing out. Don't you get lonely? But here's the thing most people don't realize. Enjoying solitude isn't the same as being lonely, not even close. In fact, for some people, being alone isn't an absence of something, it's a presence. It's where everything actually feels clear. Let me show you why. Imagine this. You've been around people all day. Conversations, noise, expectations, subtle pressure to react a certain way, to say the right thing, to match the energy in the room. Even if you enjoy it, your brain is constantly processing, reading faces, interpreting tone, adjusting your behavior. It's like running 10 apps at once on your phone. Now, when you're finally alone, everything closes, and suddenly your mind has space again. For people who enjoy solitude more than most, this space isn't empty. It's where their real thoughts live. It's where they can actually hear themselves. Psychologists sometimes describe this as a difference in stimulation thresholds. Some people need more external input to feel engaged, others need less. And when the world gets too loud, too fast, too full, their brain doesn't thrive, it starts to overload. So choosing to be alone isn't withdrawal, it's regulation. It's like stepping out of a crowded party into fresh air, except for some people, that fresh air is where they feel most like themselves. And here's where it gets even more interesting. People who enjoy being alone often have a very active internal world. Their thoughts aren't just background noise, they're vivid, layered, sometimes even more engaging than what's happening outside. You might replay conversations in your head, imagine future scenarios, build ideas, question things deeply, not because you're overthinking in a negative way, but because your brain naturally explores. It's like having a whole universe running quietly inside you, and when you're alone, that universe finally has room to expand. There's actually research showing that people who are comfortable with solitude tend to have higher levels of creativity and self-reflection, not because they're better than others, but because they spend more time in that mental space where ideas connect. Think about it. Most breakthroughs don't happen in the middle of chaos. They happen in silence, in pauses, in moments where your brain isn't reacting, it's wandering. But of course, it's not always easy, because society has this unspoken rule that being social equals being successful, that if you're not constantly surrounded by people, something must be wrong. So if you enjoy being alone, you might start questioning yourself. Am I isolating too much? Is this healthy? Why don't I enjoy what everyone else seems to enjoy? And that tension, that gap between how you naturally feel and what you think you're supposed to feel can be exhausting. But here's the reality. There's a big difference between choosing solitude and being pushed into isolation. One comes from self-understanding. The other comes from fear. People who truly enjoy being alone aren't necessarily avoiding others, they're just selective about where they invest their energy. They value depth over constant interaction, meaning over noise. It's not that they don't like people, it's that they don't need people all the time to feel complete. And that's a powerful thing, because when you're comfortable being alone, you're not dependent on external validation to feel okay. You're not constantly chasing distractions to avoid your own thoughts. You've built something a lot of people struggle with, a sense of internal stability. But there's also a quiet courage in it, because being alone means facing yourself, your thoughts, your doubts, your questions. No distractions, no filters. And not everyone is comfortable with that. Some people avoid silence because silence reveals too much. But if you enjoy it, if you can sit there without needing to escape, that says something about your relationship with your own mind. It means you're not afraid to be with yourself. And honestly, that's rare. Of course, like anything, balance matters. Humans are still social creatures. Even the most solitude-loving person needs connection at some level. The goal isn't to shut the world out completely. It's to choose your interactions intentionally, to know when to step in and when to step back. To understand that being alone isn't a weakness you need to fix, it's a preference you can learn to use. Because when you stop seeing solitude as something negative, it starts becoming something else entirely. A reset, a creative space, a place where you can think clearly, feel deeply, and understand yourself in a way that's hard to do when the world is constantly talking. So if you're someone who enjoys being alone more than most, Maybe there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe your brain just works differently. Maybe you're not missing out. Maybe you've just discovered a kind of peace that not everyone understands yet. And I'm curious, when you're alone, do you feel recharged or do you feel like something's missing? Let me know down in the comments. And if this made you see yourself a little differently, stick around. There's a lot more about your mind than most people never notice.